Satan, we got to drag your kingdom down. Oh, glory, Satan, we got to drag your kingdom down. You've been building up that old kingdom, oh God, all on you too. I'm telling you, Satan, we got to drag your kingdom down. The preachers, they gonna preach your kingdom down. Oh, glory. I said the preachers, they gonna preach your kingdom down. How about them singers? The singers, they're gonna sing your kingdom down. Yeah, Lord. And the mothers, they're gonna pray your kingdom down. People, how y'all doing? I don't have no chat here. Let me see. There y'all. How you doing? Hi, dog liquor. Pastor ain't no pastor. Cocoa Puff. You guessed it. We got to talk about it, people. We can't let this go on. All this chitter chatter about people claiming that they are somebody special because they are ordained minister. I got to tell y'all a story or two. Hold on. Let me open my window. Hold on just 1 minute. Okay, now I was privy to sitting up listening to a little bit of these people's 3.5 hour lives, right? They sold their soul out for long lives. But the part I caught was there was some guy, some heterosexual guy, I forget his name. I think it's letters, it's all letters, right? Some straight dude from the black sector. He doesn't particularly like to be associated with the black sector, but that's kind of where he's from. He was on there on that dead man's channel. They went on for hours. God damn, hours and hours. The thirst, the hunger. And you wonder, it's just Friday. Why isn't anybody at work? I mean, they said they got full-time jobs, yet they're online for 3.5 hours on a Friday. I don't understand it, but I don't understand everything. Anyway, hi, you guys. Did y'all see some of that? You can't watch all that shit, honey. To sit up there and watch that stuff for 3.5 hours, drifting from one argument to another. That boy, he always talking about emotional intelligence. But emotional intelligence, honey, is your ability to control your emotions. He yells and screams and hollers, and then when they yell back, he blocks them. I saw him chase that girl Jay Dunn off that damn thing 3 times. He yells and screams. He won't nobody yell and scream. But basically, all we get to hear is his voice, and it's so fucking annoying. And people will wonder and say, well, damn, if you're going to talk to these people, why don't you let them talk? Let them say something. He got an opinion about everything, and then he shuts everybody down, and then the ones who don't agree with him, he blocks them. He said they're unruly. They said, well, goddamn, could I make my statement first? Anyway, he brought this dude on there. I mean, I guess y'all have some of y'all got a strong opinion about this guy. What's his name? I don't want to go. I can't look on here. It's be blocked on here, but the guy was asking him some questions about ministry. I was hoping he would go on because when they got to the part asking him, "Are you ordained?" The pastor said with pride. Yes, I am ordained. So I said, well, let me do a little research here, honey. So I can't do all that reading. I mean, church people are long-winded. So when you put what it takes to become an ordained minister into your Google, they got pages and pages and pages and pages, all with a little slightly different angle on it. But basically, most of them are saying that you have a church You'll be ordained to that church. In other words, you're going to work there. You're going to serve there. You're just they're just accepting you. You have an assignment to help out with the youth ministry or the Christian, whatever, the music ministry or whatever. You're attached to that church. That is one way to be ordained. The church will just ordain you. Doesn't take any degrees, no masters, no PhDs. If you're going to work at that church, if you are working as a janitor in your regular life, you can go to that church and say, I want to serve this church. And they will choose to ordain you. And then you will serve that church. Right. And that's all it is. It's not a sign of anybody's intelligence. It don't mean you're going to preach nowhere. It just means basically you're working in that ministry. That's one way. This new thing, I'm going to tell you guys about a story I have about this job I have. You know, they always bitching up, complaining about my life, my income, however I get money and whatever. There was a period though where I had this part-time gig. A friend of mine, he found out about how easy it is to become ordained online. And his thing was, he signed up with this company. He said, well, I want to become a minister and I want you to be the witness, right? So I would go and he would give me $50 cash to witness these weddings. So he performed weddings all over San Francisco, all up in the park. They had beautiful little sets all over the place. And he wasn't the only one doing it. There were several of them. There were companies who send them out, right? But my point is, when he announced he was going to become a minister, he was not yet a minister. A week and a half later, 10 days later, he was performing weddings. He was signing up to become an ordained minister to perform weddings, right? It took a week and a half, that's 10 days, before he was a minister. So what I'm saying is, it's not all that to say somebody say they are ordained. And it's very unusual for a person. Well, you can get it online. You can go on YouTube right here today. I went and looked a little bit. How easy it is. I mean, it was barely, I think, 10 lines. You have to fill out your name, your address, your phone number, something like that. And you could become ordained in a couple of hours, right? And since the pastor, or when y'all call pastor, has already confessed that 3 of his degrees were done online, why wouldn't his ordination be done online as well? Right? This man says he does not perform any service. He's not really attached to a church. Recently, he started going somewhere. He said he only goes if they pay him to play the piano. Right? So he's not really in ministry. So how the hell is he ordained? Because if you're ordained, they want you to work in the ministry. That's what they ordained you for. You're part of their church, right? More than likely, this is another online thing that they do. Probably, maybe you paid out $100, $150, and you became an ordained minister. What does that mean? You're an ordained minister now. Does that have anything to do with your knowledge of Scripture? Nothing. Does it have anything to do with your ability to preach? Absolutely nothing. Right? You can go and become an ordained minister. If you have a family and you want to marry your cousins and you want to marry your auntie and her new husband and her new boyfriend, right? You're going to do, and then you had a neighbor down the street. She wants to get married. There's 3 people you want to marry. You can go and be ordained in about 3 hours. Took him 10 days. I mean, I don't know the total procedure. What I'm saying, people, it's not all that, honey. To say you are ordained minister, that ain't nothing, child. I can become ordained in my church if I chose to. I've been there so long as an usher, I can say, you know what? I want to be ordained. And the next ceremony they have, okay, here we are. We'll line them up. They're ordained to work in that ministry. This boy is not even involved in any ministry. Only thing he's involved in is, are they going to pay me? So his ministry is going to and banging on them keys, honey. Banging on them keys. And he says they give him $500 to do that for an hour. Because those kind of churches he going to, they're not our kind of churches, right? They go in there for an hour. He plays these little hymns, whatever. But his only interest is in the money. I mean, the money that they give him. Right? So my question to you is, would you spend your life going to degree after school after school after school supposedly, to get all of this so-called knowledge, then to not even be in ministry, to not have nothing to do with a church. Your only interest in the church is playing the piano, getting paid. You can do that with a second grade education, as long as you can play the piano. And I guess you call that singing. I'm not sure if you, whatever. Say it on. No, I could do that. Anyway, so I was amused by that. Why this boy over here bragging about he's an ordained minister. Keep saying, I'm ordained, I'm ordained. That is not the ultimate test, honey. To be ordained. That you're saying basically nothing. So whoever ordained you, whatever church you were involved in, do you carry that when you leave that church? Are you still taking that ordination now? That goes on for the rest of your life? You're like you are a pastor of something? There's never been any ministry. You're not a pastor of anything. The only pastor you've been in is here on YouTube. So just be honest, people. And if you had any kind of respect or reverence for God at all, or the church at all, you wouldn't be on here selling this bullshit ass prayer cloths like it's a big joke. You rub them all over your face and all this kind of stuff. It just shows you a lack of seriousness. So has anybody ever gotten the impression that, oh, I'm speaking with a theologian? Well, I would say, well, hell, if you got a master's and you have a PhD in ministry, I would think that you will be able to speak on the level of a theologian. Wouldn't you be a theologian if you have a PhD? So it just speaks to more bullshit, honey. I mean, your behavior is so juvenile. And then all that yelling and screaming and hollering. He's always talking about how everybody else hollers and screams. But that boy just gets on there and yells and screams and hollers. And then when they holler back at his ass, he blocks them. And he won't let nobody say shit. He has a very high opinion of, I guess he has a very high esteem for what he says. He thinks it's important. I said, damn, could I hear what that person says? I mean, you're supposed to be talking, you're having a conversation. Could the people say anything? She has to keep interrupting with her opinions. And then she wants everybody to be quiet. And this is my platform. That shows you a nigga ain't never had nothing. This is my platform. That's a map. My mama used to do that shit. This is my house. I said, girl, everybody in this house is aware of who signed the mortgage, honey. We know whose house it is, girl. You don't got to keep telling us whose house this is. Me and my other family members, girl, we can't wait to get out of your house. You can have your house. You can roll around screaming it's your house all you want to. This is who this boy puts me in mind of, honey. When you go over there to these damn stream yards, you're not equipped to be in a stream yard because, oddly enough, you have no emotional intelligence. The favorite word, the word he heard somebody say somewhere. I know he's supposed to be dead. I ain't supposed to be talking to him, but I'm bored. As I've said many times, if I feel like pulling you out the grave, slapping you around a little bit, that's what I'll do. Just the point that you have no emotional intelligence because it doesn't take hardly anything for you to start yelling and screaming and trying to get your views and cutting other people off. We're interested in what the people have to say. That's why they're being interviewed on there, right? But of course, for you, since you're so desperate for money and no one can figure out why you're off in the middle of a day on a Friday, you have 3.5 hours in the middle of the day. What kind of lunch break is that? Anyway, people, I saw they had so many. Okay, all churches are you're invisible. Let me hear what you guys got to say. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute here. The preachers, they gonna preach your kingdom down. You really gonna make me choose between him and love after lockup? I'm sorry, baby. You can go back to love and lockup. Or you can always come back here and watch this on replay. I know it's about to go down. Whatever Tim is coming singing Satan. That's my favorite song, I think, on here, honey. Because there's so many demons to deal with. Yeah. I said the singers, they gonna sing. I learned a new verse. His name is GFTV. And they were coming pretty hard on that dude. I kind of sympathize with him. It seems like, though, he has a bad reputation and he said homophobic things. And I mean, welcome to the straight world, honey. He seemed like he was trying to be reasonable, but they kept pressing him and yelling and screaming at him. I guess Olivia had an actual issue with him. He had no issue with damn Wilson. He's trying to be a gentleman to him, but Wilson had to overtalk him with his opinions. So let me think. What do I think about that dude? Yeah, he was. I mean, it sounded like he was having the same complaints that I generally give, but all this doxing and all this stuff, and apparently they do those things over there as well. They said they did things to him as first contacted his mother, and so this whole black sector, this whole shit is just going to hell, honey. But what else happened over there? Then I didn't last very long. I don't sit up and watch people. Why am I going to watch Anderson Cooper, internationally known newscaster? I only give him 1 hour, but I'm supposed to give this fucking fool 3.5 hours. Whatever. I guess Heidi had a problem with that other thing. I don't even mention that name. They started yelling and screaming. He's talking about, I'm gonna shut this down. I'm gonna shut. She said, he sounded like Ty. I'm gonna shut this motherfucker down. And then when they get going, see, he's so messy that actually he wants to hear the beef. So they yelling and screaming. You can't hear either one of them. You can't hear her. She's in a car some damn where. And the other one, you can't hear the voices, just yelling and screaming, right? But that clock is still ticking, right? So he's so desperate for money, he just wants to stay on there because he announced halfway through that he was done. It's time for a wrap, right? But they all know that anybody can go on there if they want to yell and scream. No matter what he say, the whole time he's sitting there shutting people down, giving them their last warning and all this kind of shit. It was a mess. I guess they call that entertainment, honey. That's entertainment. I know it's about to go down. Well, do y'all know, are some of you guys, listen, black people go to church, right? That's what we do. Do y'all have better knowledge than I do about this ordination kind of deal? Or how do they handle it at your church? But what I'm saying is that it doesn't take very much to become an ordained minister. If you got $150 to invest, you could become an ordained minister. So like I said, that guy, he would pick me up. We go into a park. We meet some people, usually people from out of town, because San Francisco is a tourist location and also a place where a lot of people come and get married. They want to get married in front of that bridge for some reason, right? So we'll take pictures out by the bridge, whatever. He just became a minister, 2 weeks before, but he would give legitimate, legal weddings. You have to have one witness. I would sign the thing as a witness. He give me my $50 and that would be it. Right? So much for I'm an ordained minister. I mean, what is that saying? We already know that you're taking many classes online. So why wouldn't you take that online as well? You don't belong to any church. So I don't know if you just stay ordained forever. Right? I think you have to register with the city. He can come in with some sage and bless your house. Sometimes, if you want, usually in your family, they can do funerals. They can do a wedding, stuff like that. But it ain't all that, honey. Any of y'all want to be ordained pastors, so y'all can say. And they need to leave out pastor because there's nothing to indicate that anybody over there been a pastor. They ain't never been no pastor. A pastor is the leader of the church. You shouldn't be going around calling yourself pastor if you are not a pastor. If you are not the leader of a religious organization, you are not a pastor. A pastor has to have a church, right? And you listen to these Paula White and these girls, they had a church without walls and all that kind of stuff. But they still have to organize as a church. That boy is not nobody's pastor. And then the arrogance of letting people call him that shows you the lack of seriousness. Selling prayer cloths, the lack of seriousness concerning ministry. You'll never be taken seriously in a ministry the way you carry on here. It just ain't gonna happen. There's no way. And then to say that you don't even go to church? What the fuck? So what was all the degrees about? If all your degrees is in church, I mean, why even go there? I know in our church we have a course of education. People can go after church. They go meet for an hour, and eventually they'll get some kind of certificate. Right? Is this what kind of degrees he's talking about? I mean, might be represented by a Bible college or something, but they just have classes there at your church. And if you've been in church your whole life, it wouldn't take you that long to get one of these degrees. You just been there, right? So like how we felt when we were in school, just hang around, just show up, and eventually they'll graduate you, move you on the hell out the way. Anyway, let me see. Any of y'all are ordained ministers or know anything about ministry? I would like to learn. Tell me. I've been out a long time. I never had any desire to go in. I'm an usher. My church. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this, just being of service, being a part of something, to volunteer my time, and that's as far as my ambition goes as far as church. So I'm not in there jockeying to be a deacon or anything like that. I mean, I don't see a servant's heart in there at all. I just see someone trying to cash in on something that they thought would be lucrative, and when they actually got out into the world, they realized that nobody wanted them for that. You're not gifted or talented in that way, and you're far too silly to be taken seriously. We have to at least have the appearance of this being a serious thing. This is our faith, right? People come in here, honey, to get well. It's a serious thing. You can't be on here acting a damn fool and be expected to be taken seriously. So my question is, well, why the hell did you go to school at all? I mean, why even bother with it? Hey, beloved soul sisters. Hi there, nappy child and soul sister. In 1 week. You can do it in 1 week, Tashana? My friend did it in a week in 10. I remember 10 days because I kept teasing him about it only took 10 days to get your to be a minister. Now, doctorate, that's got nothing. So that's what I'm saying. To say I'm an ordained minister, it's got nothing to do with your knowledge of scripture, right? It's just a function. But he has to put it on there like, so I should be taken seriously. I should be called pastor. You should never be called pastor. And you shouldn't allow people to call you that if you're a serious person. Now, in the game, in the streets, there were always people out there who would call themselves the bishop. When we were young in Indiana, there used to be a guy called the Bishop, Bishop Hobbs. What was his first name? He wasn't a real bishop. He was the bishop of his radio station, I guess. Anyway, there's always been people out there they call pastor or call bishop, but it's never a serious thing. You're saying that you actually have some you came on here dragging on here like you were a pastor or something, right? Fleecing the sheep. But them got to be real low down sheep though over there buying them. I mean, I guess they can buy. I mean, if anybody on here is selling T-shirts or whatever, now they're in the T-shirt business. This is all coming from Vivian Jennings. That boy ain't thought of nothing, honey. I don't think he even thought of the damn get together there. She did all the work. He took all the credit. And so now I get the impression this damn prayer cloth thing came out of her mouth as well. But she better be careful because she's on here, making a joke of ministry at night, and then she wants to go and be holiness on Sunday. Her pages, she's been posting revivals. I mean, I guess to a degree, most of us have some kind of religious life kind of thing, right? But you're not saying you're in ministry and then you're over here selling these prayer cloths to these charlatans, honey. Now stop saying prayer cloths. These wash rags, honey. Wash rag. I guess the small one would be the wash rag. The next size up would be the face cloth. So you're selling the face cloths. And why they got to talk about them so much? And why is this such a big enterprise? A $15 rag. So what? As I said earlier, I mean, when you minus the shipping and minus the little embroidery thing, girl, what are you really getting out of that? Plus, you got to buy the towel for whatever, $2 or $3. Playing is playing. I don't know if it's playing with God. It's playing with church. It's playing with religion. It's toying with it. So you don't deserve to be ordained anywhere, right? You don't. People say, "Oh, I'm gonna pray over them," like that has some value. Why would you even say something like that? You know your goddamn word ain't got no value, child. You're the messiest queen on YouTube. You're the messiest queen on YouTube. Now, how the hell are you gonna pray over something and add value to it? Stop playing with people. There are gonna be some stupid ass people on there who are gonna be preparing to go to surgery and sit up there with a J. Wilson paracoff on their head, thinking they got some power, and they ain't got no power, girl. I can assure you of that. But why are you playing with people though? Isn't this no more than what Benny Hinn was doing? Of course, you don't have the skill or the talent, but isn't that what he did? Selling people dreams. Then he even had to come out and say it's all been bullshit, honey. Just making $1. Ordained by DeVry Institute. Who was ordained by DeVry Institute? You were, Gemonita? You can be, if you want to be involved in your church, honey, there's no reason why you shouldn't get ordained. You can perform weddings for your family and your friends. You can do that. But don't be calling her like it makes you a pastor or something. You're the leader of anything. A pastor, honey, has to go in there and find some old abandoned building, child, and he got to create something out of nothing. That's the pastor's role. He's supposed to be the leader of the church. And if the thing gets going, they can change pastors, and somebody else can walk into the ministry. But somebody's got to put that thing together, man. Right? Somebody got to find a building. Contractors. Somebody's got to build an audience. Somebody hopefully can preach. You got to bring people in. He ain't done none of that, honey. It's a waste of time. I would say that if a person got out of high school and all of the plans they've made are all around these church degrees, though we haven't seen any of them, all these church degrees, what kind of sense does that make? Did you even consider what can I make a living at? Did anybody ever tell you could preach? Why even bother with it? It's useless paper. It doesn't mean anything. It would mean something if you were actually a serious pastor or minister or something like that. Somebody who dedicated your life in some way to service. But just to hang it on the wall, that ain't nothing. You still walking around here doing part-time jobs and shit and driving cabs. Girl, what a waste of time. What a waste of a lifetime. No wonder you want to talk about it so much because, you basically wasted your whole goddamn life. And you come on here and you tell people like me that I wasted my life. Well, at least I had a good time. Anyway. I don't want no pastor on here calling people crusted feet and all this kind of shit. I don't get it, girl. You talking about you got a PhD, you're going to put a doctor in front of your name and you're going to act like Jay Wilson. Doesn't make sense. You would think that if you have a PhD, you should at least be a therapist, close to a psychologist. But you're not. You're not a serious person. You can't be taken seriously. All you want to do is roast and gag. Right? A notary can officiate weddings. Yes, you can. Also, the guy on the boat, the one who drives the boats, he can do a wedding. It ain't got nothing to do with you getting in that word, honey. You do not make even when he calls himself preaching. Now, I'll be honest with you, I could not sit through one of those. I couldn't even look at that. I just thought it was so blasphemous. This church thing he had. It was always just surface kind of basic stuff that we all been saying for 2,000 years. There was no in-depth study or anything. No study was done for that. Just saying the same thing. Which I guess would be personal accomplishments if you weren't so nasty to other people. Dead people. Yeah, he have to minister to the dead, honey. Didn't know dead people can be ordained, Unc. Somebody got to take care of the dead until what he calls they get their glorified bodies. How many times are you going to say glorified bodies? How many times are you going to say emotional intelligence? You over there screaming and hollering. He goes from one argument to the next, and he always got to be front and center and say it is his platform, right? They can't say 5 words where he's yelling and screaming, and then he's talking about how loud everybody else is. Oh, they all loud and ignorant. I said, girl, nobody's on here screaming like you. Nobody. Let somebody talk. Just be quiet for a few minutes and let somebody else say something. Get right, child. Okay, Pacha ABG, Asian girl, baby girl. You're making sense here. Jay Wilson is what they used to call a professional student. Exactly. I think that's what it comes down to, honey. That some people get out of school and that is the height of their career. All they can do is be a student. If they got an opportunity and if it paid anything, if there's a way to swindle the government out of a few more dollars, they will go back to school. He stayed in school getting useless college degrees, not marketable degrees, because it was easier to stay in school. Understand? Yes, I understand you exactly. I understand that to be the truth. Professional student. He's been talking about graduating from school for the last 30 years. I guess that was the height. Lens Crafter also ordained preachers within an hour. I just don't want you guys to be taking that dude seriously, though. Please don't do that. Don't do that. God is real, honey. God is real, and there is still power in God, right? So I think it's better to keep it separate. You want to come on here and be a buffoon, act a fool for a living, then do that. Why you got to mix God in with it? God is not a joke. God is not to be mocked. My haters will say, well, you saying Satan, if you're going to drag the kingdom home. Singing a song is not the same thing. You know it. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay, y'all have an argument going already. Okay. He doesn't tell us what the PhD is in. He says that he studied church finance, which is not surprising, a way to figure out how to get the money. He's only interested in the money. Then he said he had a master's in singing. Now, you guys have heard him sing. Make sense of that. How could you get a master's of something and singing sounding like that? So we're only getting part story. I think the person who says it, I know I'm mispronouncing your name, Pancha. Forgive me for mispronouncing your name. I think you got it right. Professional student. I guess you hang around long enough, they'll give you a degree in something. But that boy don't deserve no degree and no goddamn singing, nothing. And we know teachers do not have to be Aretha Franklin. We understand that. But you would think that you would at least be able to hold a note if you're going to be getting a master's in that. So I've had all these arguments before. And very frankly, I think that's why I just separated from that dude and pronounced him dead. It was his last antics as well. And then he just annoys the shit out of me. But also, everything there's to be said about him, I've already said it. I mean, I've already said it over and over and over and over again. I don't want to become a Jay Wilson. I'm sitting there just repeating myself over. And although he does it for in that 3.5 hours, there should be somebody to take the word. I wonder if there's a machine that would take out when you use certain words and see how many times he says the same shit over and over and over and over. I mean, the whole damn time, child. It's all been said as far as him and I are concerned. He can talk about prison if he wants to. He can talk about streets. I mean, what more can you say? It caught my attention today. There wasn't a lot going on here today, but they talk about me whenever they want to. So no, I don't have any qualms qualms about if I want to talk about them, I will, because they have no qualms about talking about me whenever they want. If I am the news for that day, none of the dead people have a problem with talking about it. So I'll talk about them as well. This was the thing that was going on today. We're talking about being an ordained minister. I don't know about the doctorate. Y'all that are concerned about him, you should ask him, well, be specific. You have a PhD in what? You have a doctorate in what? Why do you have a D after your name? And why do you put pastor on there? And you know you're not a pastor and you've never been a pastor. You're a pastor of nothing. Don't you care anything about the ministry at all? Do you have any level of respect for the ministry? Just ask him. Why are you doing that? Why is it necessary? Is it because it's all you know? But I don't get the impression that you know a whole lot about the Bible, any deep study, because everything you say is just regurgitated little sayings that we all say. You know, you ain't got your glorified body. Okay, we established that, honey. God will not be mocked. We established that, but you don't seem to care about it. You know, I would say just remove that out. If you want to be a clown, just be a clown. Isn't it rich? Aren't we a pair? You here at last on the ground, me in midair, and where are the clowns? Fabulous clowns. Don't worry, they're here. He said that he has a theology degree. Where are the people? Even Johnny Mack challenged that boy in a couple of theological principles. He couldn't even have that argument. He turned and started calling him names. My problem with books was I had dyslexia. So I constantly starting over again, trying to follow the goddamn lines and stuff like that, right? But there are people who don't have dyslexia. So readings and all this, it just comes very naturally for them. That don't mean they retained anything. That's not a signal that they have any intelligence at all. They just hung around long enough and filled out the papers. You can do that. Mm-hmm. As far as I know, I'm the only one dyslexic in my whole family. So it all came very easy to them. They can go and get degrees. He been talking about glorified. You didn't get your glorified. He must have heard a sermon. Somebody said something about glorified bodies. And then he talking about this thing with the emotional intelligence kills me though, because when he tries to have these StreamYards, only because it stretches out the time, we can add in more commercials, right? Hold on a minute. Let me get you the actual. Okay. Emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence. Intelligence regarding the emotions, especially in the ability to monitor one's own or others' emotions. So when these girls can't go in there and talk to you without you losing your damn mind, hollering, yelling, and screaming, and then firing their ass and blocking their ass, girl, that is a lack of emotional intelligence. You can't sit down and have a conversation. You have to keep putting yourself front and center, like your opinions are so valuable. You don't value other people's opinions. And when they challenge you, because you already know that you're really basically kind of stupid, when they challenge you, you lose your emotional intelligence, right? So StreamYard might not be the best thing for him. I know for damn sure StreamYard is not for me, honey. I know I can lose my temper. I can't imagine me on here trying to argue with all these guys. He had, I think he had 12 people on there all the same time, right? 12 people, they're yelling, screaming at each other, child. No way. To thine own self be true. Know your own self. I know I get hot-headed. If I'm arguing with people, I can talk to you one-on-one. I can still have a conversation one-on-one, not with him. I can never do that. But I just know myself. He's on there trying to get them numbers up, honey. He showed me the number. Sina, he gets nervous when he comes across someone with a little sense. Oh, that drives him nuts. No, that's why I don't like. He don't like my ass, child. See, I have what you call the street smarts. I'm just naturally. I have a natural intelligence. I already know that. I know that because all through high school, when I wasn't reading all them books that was confusing, they didn't even know. They couldn't diagnose me because they didn't know. Because I could still get A's in the class. And some of them, I mean, I had problems with math and all that, but I can still do it just on raw intelligence. He don't like that. He don't like anybody who is smarter than him, right? It makes him nuts. I heard Vivian is featuring. Okay, people, y'all ready? Here's the big announcement for the night. Lisa T. I heard Vivian is featuring Stomp Down on her show tonight. All right, let's address that for a second. Miss Vivian Jennings. Miss Vivian Jennings, you seem to be a woman who wants respect. You're not going to get respect as long as you're over there publicly kissing Jay Wilson's ass for one thing. But we've all come to know you. That's what you do. You are an ass kisser. We know that. You are what they call a brown noser. Most ministers have one of those, following them around, you know, taking them to the airport. Sometimes they're called assistants, whatever. You're just a natural ass kisser, right? But for you to be going over here featuring this Stomp Down, this is going to be problematic for you, Vivian Jennings. So I'm just letting you know from what I'm seeing. As long as you're letting that woman stomp down on your channel, or that woman, that girl, or whatever the hell it is, as long as you're featuring her, you see, you're being passive aggressive. Because she knows she's going to be on there talking shit about us, that foul, nasty, vicious mouth, and you are encouraging and sponsoring it. So you're going to lose whatever respect you have right now, Vivian Jennings, because the people are going to turn on you, right? So you're hitching your wagon to the Stomp Down, who's representing nothing but the devil himself. I'm just telling you, girl, watch your back, honey. I don't think you have a strong enough back to be dealing with it. I mean, Wilson, your master, he don't give a fuck. What kind of pastor is going around people talking about, calling him all kind of pussy ass and talking about his shitty hole? And I mean, just, you can say anything to him. It doesn't bother him. He's only in it for the money. I don't think you have that strong a back, Vivian Jennings. So be careful what you invite into your home, honey. Right? If that thing wants an invitation, you say, no, not on my channel. That's not my content. Don't be coming on here like some whip dog, honey. I never did anything to anybody. You sponsoring that Stomp Down monster. And we're going to get her. Oh, yes, we're going to get her, baby. She's going to have to feel the pain. I don't think you got the back for it. You see how these people act on here. What's this? The list of just a list of names? Okay. Nappy Child, contact Mr. Timothy. Oh, that's my email. Okay. It's cool. It always amazes me when people who are unattractive on the outside are also unattractive on the inside. Unbelievable. But that's that Stomp Down. She's ugly on the inside. We can already tell she's ugly on the outside because she's so ugly. Decent looking people, they don't talk like that. They don't come at people like that. They're not that person. That is an ugly person. She would have to be physically. Now I know some of y'all gonna say, well, you just talk about people's looks too much. Well, girl, that's the level I play on. I want to see the face. I want to see those nostrils. I want to see those gap teeth. Show me your face. Until you can show me your goddamn face, I don't appreciate you looking at mine. Not for subscribers, of course. That goes for people who are presenting as content creators. It's so fucked up that she will be over there hiding behind a damn black screen and taking everybody else's inventory. So low life, low class. So we ain't gonna make her famous. She wants to be stomped down. We got to give her stomp down. Get into the goddamn receiver. Vivian and Jay Wilson are two sides of the same coin. I wish everyone would stop giving her a pass. She is not innocent. No, she's not. You see, she's sponsoring that stomp down over here on her channel tonight. She already did an interview with her last week. Why in the hell would you need another interview with her this week? Why can't this stomp down stand on her own goddamn 2 feet? She wants to stomp people down, use her own motherfucking feet. But no, you're going to sponsor her. And Wilson's going to sponsor her. He's going to do whatever it takes to get people over there. He can add commercials. As he said, my commercials. I'm going to put my commercials in. I'm going to put my commercials in. Girl, everybody on here is putting their commercials in. What is there to say? And did he come on? What? I forgot all about this. Did Jay Wilson, y'all listen to this. Focus up. Did Jay Wilson come on here and say he started the beef sector? That man asked him about where the beef sector came from, right? He don't like the word sectors. And Jay Wilson said, talking about, it was about Kaya. And he really thinks that everything began with T.S. Madison and Kaya. I had already been on here damn near 2 years before we even had that argument. But he built his life off of their back, right? But he actually believes that he created the beef sector or the term beef sector. And it's not true. It is not true, honey. He said, you beefing for dollars is what you can be created. Passer. I'm beefing for dollars. I'm beefing for dollars. Don't be so obvious and so stupid. You brought the whole goddamn thing down a level, 2 or 3 notches. Y'all notice how back then when you were beefing for dollars, and they kept giving all them super chats and all that shit. See how the mighty have fallen? That girl can go through 3.5 hours. And what she get? 2 super chats. 2 super chats, honey. She used to live for them. Remember? Cash App, Palousas, and all that shit. Nobody still explains how he keeps getting these 3.5 hours in the middle of the day on a Friday. And you got a full-time job. If you got a full-time job, that means you have to work at least 5 days a week, right? You know he's going to be around here all day Saturday. So how in the hell you get Friday off too? Are you working 10-hour days? You couldn't be because you're on here 2 or 3 hours a day. Just all the lies, honey. Lie after lie after lie after lie. Then they say, oh, I never lied. I never lied about anything. I never lied. On Howard Stern talking about Oprah Winfrey. Gerald, this child here, this is a low bottom girl, honey. She ain't on no damn Howard Stern. She don't know nothing about no Oprah Winfrey, honey. I had to do a study for my master's too. I did adolescent obesity in the urban environment with the focus. Yeah, but that ain't had nothing to do with you being an ordained minister, though, was it? Right. Ain't wrong with education. I ain't mad at the education, honey. It seems to me, though, if I had 5 degrees, one of them would bring me some goddamn money. I mean, one of them would be something that would interest me for the rest of my life. One of them would have some value. 5 and not 1 has value. You would think if you had went through this process once and you saw, okay, I didn't make anything out of that. I'm not any 1 bit more employable because I got that degree. Why would I go and do the same thing again and pick another stupid degree? And then, I mean, a lot of people who have degrees, they have one stupid one and one that pays. And then another stupid degree. And then another stupid degree. And then another stupid degree. Why would you keep getting degrees? Like this person said, it's nothing but a professional student. And he's already admitted that only 2 of them actually required any live classes. I mean, it was mostly all online stuff. Sing. Lord have mercy. I sing because I'm happy, and I sing because I'm free. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches over me. Mm-hmm. Your master's is okay. Is Carly B? Carly B? That sounds familiar. Oh, you sound like Cardi B. You're Carly B. My master's is the one that makes me money. My bachelor degree was pointless. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wish I did have. I mean, if something really interested me, nothing wrong with being a specialist in something. It'd be great. You know, particularly if you go and work in, like, why don't you just pick something like a hospital job? Those people make good money. I think a X-ray tech makes like $40 an hour, and they always got jobs. They teach that in prison. X-ray tech. What was his? Y'all need to have that kind of conversation. See, I don't know anything about it. There's a question that I want to ask Jay Wilson. What is his dissertation topic? Ask him where he can see his published dissertation. There you go. See, that's what y'all need to be challenging him. But all he's going to do is start screaming, and then he's going to block you, honey. Right. Mm-hmm. He ain't really been doxxed. Mm. Then people start digging in them records and see what he really is about. Or just tell him to take down the damn shit off the top of the cabinet. Your degrees. It's going to expose. We already know 3 of them is from online courses. Probably the other one is probably from church courses. What are they in? Hi, Big Randy's joint. What mischief are you up to? I miss hanging out over here. I'm just busy with studies. So you studies and work? Okay. Good to see you, Big Randy's. Ooh, somebody needs to find out his pastor. I don't think he goes to church, Miss D Town. I don't think he even goes, child. There've only been a few times that he's even admitted. That's only been recently. He's even admitted to even attending services. Generally, he says he attends services when they let him play and they give him $500. Doesn't sound like any kind of passion to me. And where's the heart of a servant, honey? Ministry is service. You should be in church even if you're not making a dime. Shouldn't just be about money. Vivian is going to put itching powder in your prayer cloth. So I don't let all these weirdos pray over me. When I was laying up in the hospital with cancer, I didn't even know who this dude. I ain't never even heard no damn Jay Wilson. I got out of the hospital. I was on a walker. I still got the walker in my closet. I said, "Who in the hell is this?" He's over here praying for Timothy Blaine, right? He was, as I said before, he wasn't praying for me. He was praying on me, because next thing I know, that I'm in every damn one of his videos, right? And so at first, I kind of put up with it. I said, well, maybe he's just a fan kind of thing, right? But that dude trying to turn his whole damn program into Timothy. He commented on every video I had. Dude wasn't praying for me. He's taking advantage. I don't have any freaks praying over you, honey. Oh, come on now. Be nice, Storytime World. $600 if he promises not to sing. I sing because I'm happy. Don't you sing? You don't sing in your shower? Oh, Omar's story time. Only people that don't like my singing are usually singers. Yeah, but you got to be talented, Charles Dawson. I don't see it, baby. I'm sorry. Charles Dawson says, depending on the church, musicians can earn high salaries, especially minister of music or director positions. I'm sorry. I just don't see it. I just don't see any musical talent at all. Now, maybe because, Kirk Franklin can't sing, and he's made himself a wonderful career. So I guess if you were any kind of arranged, but has he ever wrote a song before? What does he do exactly? We've heard the piano playing is terrible. It's just awful. It's something that you just learn by hanging around a church and just picking on the keys kind of thing. So no, I don't think that T.D. Jakes is going to be hiring him, honey. Yes, I'm sure that those musicians make a good coin because they help bring. I let me recommend this book to you guys. Women, y'all gonna love this book. It's more of a woman's book. Y'all heard of Carl Weber? This is an old book. It's maybe 10 years old. Carl Weber. Y'all got to read The Choir Director. The Choir Director. It is not a gay book. The first scene is a gay scene where this woman finds out that her husband's on the down low. But the book is nothing like that. It's about the church life. And I just laughed all the way through that book. It's one of my favorites, especially of his. Carl Weber, The Choir Director. You can download it on Amazon. If you like to read, I think it'll be very enjoyable. One of the best books I've read on church life because it kept me going. It kept me. Matter of fact, I might read that again. I should download it. Downloading the book's so easy these days. You download, you spend $2 or $3. And people ask about, do you have audiobooks? But if you have a Kindle, all books are audiobooks, really, because they all have an element where you can read it out loud. In general, I didn't say Jay Wilson had any talent. You think I'm crazy? I'm saying in general, minister of music. Yes. Especially if you're at a big church, a mega church. They make good money. Now, I don't know about everybody in the choir makes good money, though. I think usually it's the choir director and the minister of music. But those are big churches. Those people rake in tons of. You see, T.D. Jakes use wheelbarrows to collect his money. I don't know that small churches, community churches. The choir director, okay, I'm going to check it out. Yeah, tell me what you think about that, Tashana. I think you'll love it. Carl Weber. If you read that one, you'll probably end up getting a lot of Carl Weber books. He's excellent. He ain't got no job. Well, he had 3.5 hours in the middle of the day on a Friday. What the hell is that? He's not on vacation or nothing, right? How far? I am so disappointed in myself, soul sisters, because I made a climactic point, and then I haven't written in 2 days. You can't let that happen. You got to stay in it. But I think because this last part of it is such the important part, I may be overthinking it. But yeah, I'm nearing the end of the first draft. The second draft will go very fast. I'm looking forward to the second draft. That's where I can really relax. In the second draft, you don't got to be creative. You can just straighten things up, make things consistent. You can see where things are lacking. You can add parts to it or take parts out. That part is fun for me. So we're getting there. Choir director by Carl. Oh, that's the link. Let me go over here and order that myself. Hold on. I'm gonna order that again. $23. No, wait a minute. It's a 3-part book series. Oh Lord, I ain't paying no $23. Carl Weber. Okay, you can get the original book for $3.99. I didn't know he wrote 3 books after that. Okay, I had to check that out. I read it maybe 10 years ago. I read it when I moved in this apartment. Okay, I think I just bought it, right? Thanks for okay. Yeah, that's it. Y'all see how fast that was to order a book? And y'all go over to order Love and Gospel Music Series by Timothy Blaine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll read that again. I enjoy it. When I listen at night, it takes a long time to get through a story, right? Because every day I got to figure out where I was, and then I know the story. But yeah, I can read a book 2 or 3 times. It's been 10 years, so I should do Kindle books. They are cheap. Oh, I do Kindle books. That's all I buy. Oh, I don't buy no hard books, RJ Supreme. I buy Kindle books, and I use the reader. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that book I just bought that was $2.99 or $3.99 or something like that. All right, people. I just thought I'd come in and be a little messy, but and draw our attention to a couple of points about ministry. We'll be back in my church next week on the 1st. We'll go back, so I'm looking forward to that. I do miss it. And now that it's getting closer to time to go back, I miss it more and more. Right. I mean, I enjoyed your book, The Myth Monster. Okay, going to start the gospel series. Yeah, start that gospel series, Bernice. The Myth Monster was a straight telling of the story. I tried to stay as close to the exact truth as I could, but the novels are mostly dialogue, so they're almost like watching a movie. All right, guys. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.